Our first guests tonight are comedy legends. Their parents were comedy legends. It is likely that their children, grandchildren, and pets will be comedy legends, too. Their documentary love story is called Albert Brooks Defending My Life. It is streaming now on Max. Please welcome Albert Brooks and Rob Reiner. First of all, it is a great honor to have you both here.
It's good
That's
to
what
know.
you say. I believe that, yes.
I do.
Good to know my grandchildren will be successful.
They will.
Thank you for telling
They
me.
got it in them. I just know it. You guys, I really, I felt like I knew a lot about both of you, really, because I've been a fan for a very long time. But I learned a lot from the documentary. I think a lot of people learned a lot from the documentary. I knew you guys were friends since you were kids, really,
Since high school, yeah.
I didn't know you were friends immediately, that you were attracted to each other right off the bat.
Well, attracted. I mean, you don't want to use the word attracted.
It's Pride Month, Rob. It is Pride Month,
That's
yes.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
May I remind you?
We bonded. We did bond.
You bonded, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you had that thing that just people have every once in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I made a fool of myself because I met him in the first day of drama class in high school. And it was a big class, and we were all supposed to introduce ourselves. And I was in the front, and at that time, my given name was Albert Einstein. So...
And we talk about that in the documentary.
I didn't like saying that whole name, so I would use Al. I never liked Al, but that's how I had to go by. So I stood up, I'm Al Einstein, Then 40 other people introduced themselves, and in the back, I heard him say, Rob, I never heard a last name, I'm from New York. And I went up to him afterwards, and why this happened, how this happened, 2 weeks earlier, I had seen his father, Carl Reiner, at the Museum of Television, and I was like bragging about it. And I said to this guy, you're from New York, huh? Yeah, you don't know a lot about Hollywood? No, I know Carl Reiner.
Did he tell you right away?
And I said, yeah, I know him too. He's my father.
This is, I mean, really, I have to say, like, besides learning about your relationship, whatever, I love that, Rob, you directed this film because it really is such a love letter to your friend. You guys have been friends for such a long time.
Yeah.
In fact, in a way, I feel like Albert should do one about you now.
It's about time, don't you think?
I really do.
No, listen, I love Albert. We hit it off, like you said, right away. And I have always thought of Albert as he's a genius. I mean, he is an absolute league by himself. He's the only guy at age 16 who could make my father and seasoned professionals laugh uncontrollably. And he was like a prodigy. He was like a comedy prodigy. And for years, I wanted to do this, I don't know if you remember, there was a movie called My Dinner with Andre.
Yes.
And it came out, and I said to Albert, I said, come on. You and I will do My Lunch with Albert, and I'll sit with you, and we'll talk for a couple of days. He never wanted to do it, but then I think we hit on the way of doing it, which is our conversation, our friendship is the centerpiece. We sit in a restaurant, and then we talk about Albert's life and his career, and it plays like a movie. It doesn't play like a documentary. It's a central character.
The truth is that in the last 10 years, the only people that say hello to me think I'm a fish. And I said to Rob, help me.
Well, no.
I had a life.
I know, and I wanted people to know. A lot of people, even people who know Albert, they didn't know all of his life. I wanted them to experience what I have experienced since I'm 16 years old. I mean, I'll give you an example. If you spend any time with Albert, you will be exposed to the most brilliant kind of comedic mind that you can imagine. One time I remember we were lost in the hills above Malibu and up in the hills.
How old are you at this time?
We're, 17, maybe 16, 17. and we can't figure out how to get back down to the PCH. And so there's a cow grazing in a meadow by himself, and Albert pulls the car up to the cow and goes, the cow's eating like this, you know? He says, "Excuse me, sir, sir." And the cow looks up, and he goes, "Yeah, could you tell us how to get back to the PCH?" And the cow goes like that, and eats, and he says, "Thank you," and he drives off. And I said, "Albert, Albert, you took directions from a cow." He says, "Yeah, but he lives around here. He knows the area."
Now, this is something Rob does not know. I've never told you this. I went back 2 weeks later by myself. Same cow. I asked for different directions. I said, "How do I get to Ventura Boulevard?" The cow went the other way, went like this. I followed it. It was to the barn. Listen, I'm not going to say any more, but I've never had milk since that day.
Albert Brooks and Rob Reiner are here. Their documentary is called Albert Brooks Defending My Life. We'll be right back.
Do you remember the ventriloquist bit?
Yeah.
That's kind of an iconic bit now, right?
Well, good evening, everybody. Yes, hello, everybody. I'm Dave, and I'm Danny. You know, Danny, I'm a little nervous being here on television and everything. Well, why don't you have a cigarette? That always calms you down. Well, I just can't have a smoke and leave everybody sitting here. They might get bored. I'll sing a song while you have a cigarette. Great idea. What are you gonna sing? One of my favorites, Swanee River. Great.
With Albert Brooks and Rob Reiner. Albert Brooks Defending My Life is their documentary.
Jimmy, I want to do something.
Okay.
It's totally unplanned. Your reaction will say that.
Okay.
Okay. I got a vibe. There's a guy I keep seeing on TikTok. No, he goes into crowds. He doesn't know anybody. He picks somebody. He asks them a question that he could never know, like, who was the name of your first kiss? And he gets it. And I'm watching this guy, and I'm saying, I have that ability.
Really?
And when I walked out here, I got this vibe from you.
Oh.
You don't know that I'm doing this, right?
I have honestly no idea.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Here's what I want you to do.
Okay.
You went to what? I'm assuming grammar school, high school, and college?
A little bit of college, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but yes, the others.
Take all of those years of school.
Okay.
I don't care which one. Pick the name, first name is fine, of your favorite teacher.
Okay.
Do you have one?
I know it already, yes.
Okay. Now, hold your hand up. Here.
Okay.
All right. Say the name quietly in your head out loud. Don't say it to me. Say it out loud.
Out loud?
All right, no.
Okay.
I got it.
Okay.
I'm going to whisper it to Rob.
Okay.
Ruth. Jimmy, what was the name of your teacher?
Gary.
Rob, what name did I say?
Ruth.
Why did you say Ruth?
Because that's what you
Yeah, I
whispered
know,
in my
but
ear.
what was the bit?
The
What did
bit was I was supposed to say whatever he
Yeah,
said.
and why didn't you say Gary?
Well, because you said Ruth, and I
Okay,
thought maybe.
Jimmy,
Yeah.
I get a psychic vibe from you, but he's an idiot. Let me come back another night with another part. Ruth.
You guys, you know, I've been thinking about you a lot this weekend, and I was thinking about like what projects you've done together, and this one is a great one for sure. You haven't done that many projects together. Why not? best friends.
Well, you know, it's weird how things, you know, come together and don't. I mean, I did a little bit in Albert's movie, The Muse.
Right.
And, you know, we've done little things over the years, but this was the one that I really wanted to do. I mean, we have our separate careers. There's nobody more original than Albert. And to be honest, and I'm not telling tales out of school, I asked him to be in When Harry Met Sally, and he turned me down.
Why did you turn him down?
Because I was in the middle of writing Lost in America.
Oh, that's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
That is a great one. The round stick.
You make choices, but, you know, one of the reasons maybe we stayed friends is we haven't worked together. And I think the Ruth bit proves it.
Yeah. I think,
The Ruth bit. You know, Rob, you were talking about your dad, Carl Reiner, who I was very fortunate to have on the show, and who's just the greatest, who was just the greatest, and how funny you tell Albert that he was the funniest person that he knew, and he tell others the same story. How did that make you feel?
made me feel great.
It
made
did.
me feel great because, first of all, he said it on the Johnny Carson show.
Wow.
Johnny Carson asked my dad, who of the people today who are around today, who was the funniest person? And he said, a 16-year-old high school kid named Albert Brooks.
Albert Einstein, actually.
Albert Einstein. He wasn't Brooks at the time.
Yeah.
It's odd that my dad's best friend is Mel Brooks.
Yeah.
And my best friend was Albert Brooks.
Yeah.
And, you know, so you got two Reiner Brooks. Neither of Brookses are real Brooks. You got Mel Brooks, who's Bernstein, and Albert, who's Albert Einstein. Anyway, Mel Kaminsky, excuse me. Jim Brooks is Jim Bernstein.
All right, already.
I know. All right.
The Babbling Brooks.
Anyway,
By the way,
it made me feel good because he loved Albert, and Albert.
I lost my father when I was 11, and I met Rob when I was 14. And you hear this, but it was literally true. Carl was a second father to me. And it was a great second father because he didn't have any of the genetic issues. I could leave at 5 and, you know. Mm-hmm. And by the way, maybe this isn't the right time, but I've never asked you this. I've always, you know, your family always said like he was a second father. Was anything left to me?
You know, Albert, I'm sorry, but no.
Not that car?
No.
That car?
You got enough from him.
Okay.
Well, no matter what they say, these men love each other very dearly
We do.
and deeply, and you can see it all in their documentary, Albert Brooks,
Yes,
Defending
on
My
Max.
Life.
And by the way, if you're over 30, you can't find anything on Max because there's a billion. So you got to search, go to ALB, it'll come up.
ALB. Start with that.